Hi guys, welcome to Roving Books, and today we'll be reviewing Faceless by Amma Darko. I read this book in secondary school, so that's why my copy is very old. I mean, this is a 10-year-old copy, I think. Yes. So let's get into it. Faceless tells the story of women who have been silenced over and over till there is nothing like they can say anymore, and how they have a community, but this community of people are also scared to see anything because of what they've seen happen to people who dare to speak. Now, I often wondered why this book was called Faceless. I wondered about it many times because I couldn't see them taking the face of a person. I didn't see that happen in the book. But over time, I realized that what this meant was that the people in this book, they made the women faceless, in the sense that these women were stripped of their humanity. So they have no names and they have no faces. So they are only statistics. And that's how I was able to understand, or I think I know that is the meaning of the word faceless. We're introduced to this story and we meet Baby T. Not like we meet her, we learn of her death and how she's expected to be disposed just like someone that did not exist. She's disposed like garbage simply because of the kind of family she was born into. And when we look further into Baby T's life, we see that she is not even a real person in the sense of the word, because even her own name, Baby T, is not a real name. She was just called Baby T because her mother's name is Suru, Tsuru, and they decided to call her like baby of this person. That's her name. She never had a name. But the main character that we are introduced to is Fofo. Fofo is the person that her narrative and other people's narrative carries a story. And we learned from Fofo the kind of life that she has lived. Fofo is a very strong young woman, and the way she deals with her life is by hallucinating. She says that, oh, she travels out of her body and sometimes she pities the person that is herself and her mother because of the kind of situation she has. Now, over to her mother, Maa Tsuru. Maa Tsuru is a woman with a very questionable character. I remember trying to understand why she made the decisions she made because it felt like she didn't care. And even when confronted, she did not give an answer that was, you mean you suppressed your guilt that your child is missing or your children are dead or you don't have any idea where your children are. It was just a very unnatural answer. And Fofo was really angry because she expected that, oh, she has a mother, so she should have someone to fight for her. But that was not what Maa Tsuru was. So she's a very perplexing character. And the truth is, there are many women like Maa Tsuru in this world, whether we like it or not. They have accepted their fate and they think that there is nothing that they can do to change their story. So they just sit down and allow things to play out. Fofo didn't like this. Fofo felt like no matter how badly pressed or how pushed against you are to the wall, there are certain things you can do. You cannot just sit down and allow life to continue happening to you. But the good thing with Fofo is that she has an intervention in her life in the person of Kabria. Kabria is an educated woman. She's part of an NGO. And when they come to face Fofo's story, they realize how much of a privilege they themselves have. So Kabria is a woman in the middle class and she has a car called Creamy. To her, Creamy has a personality, Creamy has a soul. So she always speaks to her car. And then her life is not a very pleasant life because she has to prepare the children for school. She's stressed. She's combining motherhood with work. So it's a lot of things for her. Then she meets Fofo and she realizes that life can be indeed much worse than it is. So Fofo, the first time Fofo uses a toilet in the house, Fofo looks at it with wonder that, oh, the toilet itself can even flush. Fofo is she's amazed by that. But Kabria has seen this as something that is a part of her life. And this is something that Amma Darko does to make us realize the realities of street children. Many street children have zero access to basic amenities. Some people like you're a middle class person, you think you're suffering. Go to the streets and see what street children are going through. I think that that's what Amma Darko achieves with this story. She makes these street children alive. I remember years back, I used to think that we didn't have enough material, we didn't have enough stories on street children. In Nigeria, they are in green uniforms. But yes, and the first book I read that talked about them, aside from Faceless, was Born on a Tuesday. Yes, they are called Almajiris. So Born on a Tuesday it spotlighted a particular Almajiri and his life. But we see in this story that among street children, they even have grades because there are some people that even suffer worse because of the kind of lives they have. People that have mothers like Maa Tsuru, they literally don't have anybody to fight for them. So their fate in life is worse than the other street children who have mothers who can fight for them. And it's a very, very sad story. I like how Amma Darko makes the story feel like something that can happen in every other part of Africa. Because yes, this story was set in Ghana, but it felt like I was reading something happening in a nearby city. I think I had seen tweet where someone said what made Faceless so remarkable was that it felt like reading a story that was happening in your neighborhood. You could just walk past and it was something that could happen. And that's why one of the reasons why I think Faceless is a book everybody should read. As for the writing style in Faceless, it was very free. That's the word I'll use. It was very free in the sense like we could move from moments of deep tragedy like Baby T's death to moments of amusement where Kabria is struggling with Creamy and we see Kabria begging Creamy like this sister be for real. And then we also move to other moments of tragedy. So it is like the way life is. Many things are happening all at once and we see in this book while Kabria is struggling with her own life, Baby T is struggling with her own life till she dies. Fofo is struggling with her own life. Maa Tsuru is struggling with her own life. Onko is a criminal doing his own thing, right? So I think everybody should read Faceless, and yes, everybody should read Faceless. This is a book that like, there is no reason why you should not read Faceless or you should not have read Faceless. You should read Faceless by Amma Darko. And that's it, guys. We have wrapped up books written by women section in Roving True Books. Next section of videos will be poetry, and I can't wait for you to join me on this journey. Bye, guys.